You ready to rock the show?
Yes, I am. It's fun. Yeah.
First one. Have they banned giant margaritas in New York yet?
They did not. No. Actually, the soda ban, the big soda ban, actually was not alcoholic. So.
All right. So you can still. How often do you drink giant margaritas, anyways?
Not often. Maybe once or twice. A day. So it's like not that bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you cold? Because Philly is cold as hell. Like this
it really is.
But you're used to this.
You don't think about like Philly as like cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm from Florida, and if it drops to like 35 degrees, like iguanas are falling off the trees. We're canceling school.
Aww.
Yeah, it gets really sad.
Is that what you said about iguanas?
they fall into a state of hibernation.
Why would you say that?
But it's true. I'm dead ass. Like it's an actual news story.
They just go. They're like, I don't want to live.
I cannot be serious. Like they fall off the trees into a state of hibernation.
Aww.
Dead ass serious. Crops die.
Poor kids.
It's the rapture when it drops to 35. If it ever drops.
Yeah, well, it's like negative 35 right now.
Man, this is disrespectful. You're an American comedic rap musician. That's quite the label, right? As an artist, what do you think about labels? Should we get rid of it, or do you think it's a necessary evil to have labels?
Well, I mean, everyone needs labels. That's how you tell. That's how you tell people about. Am I mad if like someone's like, oh, you just check out Awkwafina? She's like this Asian rapper.
Right.
You can't be like, oh, check out Awkwafina. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So labels are necessary. I think it depends on, and it all depends on who you are as to how you label things. Either I'm an Asian rapper, either I'm an American rapper comedian, either like, I'm Korean, Chinese. It all depends. So so just depends on like how you see things.
So it's necessary. It's how you interpret it.
Oh, it's necessary. Yeah.
Right. You went to the same school as I want to say Xavier Banks.
Yes,
Nicki
Minaj, yeah. And Jennifer Aniston and Al Pacino.
Damn, that's the best.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Jeez, that's a
Liza Minnelli.
Excuse me, Mrs. Braggadocious.
I don't mean to brag, but we did have Al Pacino, and we did. No.
I went to Forest Hill High School, and my school was known at.
Sorry.
Our mascot was the Falcons.
Would they drop out the trees when it turned 35 degrees?
Yeah.
With an iguana on their mouth?
With such a huge class, well, let's just stick to Nicki Minaj and Xavier Banks. Where does Awkwafina fit? Not just in terms of an Asian rapper, but as a woman in hip hop.
Oh, as a woman
Yeah.
What I can't say that I'm like the first Asian female rapper because there's a lot of them.
Right.
But I can say that I'm the first like millennial Asian rapper comedian.
Right.
That I think more so than anybody. I don't know anybody else who's doing it, and if it exists,
neither do I.
In terms of women of hip hop, like little girls, they idolize Nicki Minaj, they idolize Zoe Banks, and I don't think that the mainstream is gonna ever idolize me, but I think that I speak to a certain niche of like awkward Asian girls, Asian or otherwise, that are nerdy, but they're not like bookish or overachieving. At the same time, they're not really like just girly, they're kind of misfitty. So I think that, I definitely speak to that kind of fan.
To that fan. I think you can still be idolized to that niche market, though. I mean, the humans idolize things. That's what they do, is worship everything.
I will never be able to, like, move my butt, like...
twerk, be like, hey.
Like, with one cheek going, like... I don't know how to do that.
Which is very creative, by the way.
Right.
Not that I've seen, I'm just saying.
Whatever.
With shows like Blackish, Fresh Off the Boat, finally television within the last 10, 20 years have not had that multi-dimensional black or Asian character. Now it's starting to get there. What do you think Asian rappers and hip hop will do to perhaps get their messages to the mainstream, get their voices heard like television is doing now?
Well, I think that's a pretty broad question, because like TV is very different than music, and especially rap. Like rap is not like American broadcast. Like rap is a very niche, genre. And
but it's also global, right? I mean,
it's global, but it's built to a degree on solidarity, and when that solidarity is compromised by other races coming in, it gets very tricky. and
Right.
politicky.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think there's a degree of acceptance and there's a degree of not wanting to change the genre.
Right.
And that involves even Iggy Azalea, like even Nicki Minaj, because they're making rap pop. And I think that a lot of like really hardcore hip hop heads don't want to see it go that way.
Yeah, right.
You know, they want to keep the old, you know, grave diggers.
You always have the hip hop purists there. And
yeah, the hip hop purists, but you know, the way that Asian people fit in is like they get it even harder because, you know, and it's not even a complaint thing. It's literally like, you know, in media in general, in art culture, they're decentralized, they're known as nerdy. Yeah, they have a lot of negative stereotypes working against them. So,
along with those negative stereotypes, do you think battling that model minority myth is a challenge that every single rapper has to go through, in a sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think the minority myth is part of the argument against them, but it doesn't apply to rap. It applies to graphic design. It applies to med school. It applies to lawyers.
Everything.
It doesn't apply to music. Like it doesn't apply to rap music. It applies to classical music. It applies, you know, that degree of like that idea that we work really hard or whatever.
Right.
So it's hard. It's hard for it to translate.
Right. Definitely. I spent 4 years in Korea. I completely get the whole dichotomy of being a hyphenated American, Haitian American.
Yeah.
So I get all of that.
Right.
I love your song Yellow Ranger.
Yeah.
It made me nostalgic about the Black Ranger.
Oh yeah.
You're yellow, I'm black.
Yeah.
We're like stereotypically natural black.
I know.
Than yellow Power Rangers.
What's his name again? Rob?
I don't know. He like, you know, he did moves and
It
shit.
wasn't Jason. What was his name?
I can't remember. Do you remember, Dumb?
I'm gonna Google it.
Dumbfounder's about to Google it right now. I can't remember his name for the life.
I can't remember his name either.
Zach.
Yes. Off the dome.
Off the zone.
We should have known that one though. I like Zach.
All right. You also talk about your vag a lot, your vagina, and you own your vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about feminism and how it fits into your artistry and how it fits in hip hop in general?
I mean, I definitely consider myself a feminist, like, but I don't think that when I wrote my vag, I meant it to be a feminist ballad.
Right.
Because, you know, it is Mickey Allen wrote a song called My Dick. Is he like a manonist?
A manonist, right?
You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. So, it was definitely seen as like me kind of. And I think the message there is that it's important for women to be bold about that kind of subject matter and like not and like come out with it and like own it and whatever.
Right.
But I did not mean it to be as feminist as it got like translated as.
Right.
But that's okay. I feel like it can still be.
I think I think every movement, every social movement in particular, always has this sense of walking contradiction. What do you think about, like, you know, there's a first, second, third wave of feminism, there's radical feminism.
Yeah.
Feminism
is deep.
Right, it's very deep and complex.
And people don't understand what it means in this country, and they don't understand the history of it a lot of times,
We had a discussion with Danny Chung just recently. Danny Chung is a hip hop artist who's also on the rise. We had a discussion with this girl about using the word female in the right context instead of woman. So, like, if I say female rapper or woman rapper, I mean, some women may feel offended by the use of female. But then feminism has fem within the word itself.
You know, I mean, it's fine people think like that, but you know, people don't mean to say. I personally don't think the word female is offensive.
Right, it's the intention behind.
Yeah, I think like maybe if you call us like a bitch Asian rapper, you know,
or women calling each other bitches. I mean,
right. Or a vaginal Asian rapper.
She's
like,
a vaginal Asian rapper.
Yeah.
A vaginal Asian rapper sounds like someone who.
Yeah, there's a vaginal Asian rapper. I'd be like, that's not nice. You know.
Like if you saying bad words.